Well, thank you everybody for joining us in our third session. We've had our first two sessions in a more traditional sort of format, looking at how academics who look at TikTok study these areas in relation to diaspora. And then we had a real treat listening to TikTok creators themselves creating content as diaspora or for diaspora, figuring out how to work through the terrains of this platform. Now in this session, this is really insight that we're trying to draw all from our research and creators, as well as influencers, as well as academics, hearing straight from the horse's mouth, from the NGO groups, as well as the industry folks who somehow sit between all of these areas as mediators. And with me here today, I'm very excited to introduce three of our panelists. We have first Shikha. Shikha Gyanchandani is the Chief Operating Officer for Pradesi. It is a global platform founded to celebrate, empower, and amplify voices of South Asian women worldwide. Through digital content, workshop, and mentorship schemes, she has worked with the founding team to build a community that has over 10,000 followers, and they receive over 100,000 monthly engagements on social media. Shikha is also a biomedical sciences graduate from the University of Warwick with experience working in industry and research. Thank you for joining us today, Shikha. We have up next, Sean from Borderless. Sean is the creator of Borderless, an online platform that explores global Asian diaspora stories and perspectives from East and Southeast Asia. They highlight especially cross-cultural individuals who all choose a different path in life. Sean believes the Asian diaspora can play a part in bridging gaps between communities, cultures, and countries. So thank you, Sean, for joining us today. Last but not least, we have May, also known as Nirot. With 6 years in advertising industry, Nirot from Gush Cloud, Thailand has worked as account manager and media planner before taking on the role as country director in 2018. May's expertise ranges from campaign strategy, client management, and talent management. He's currently the country director as well as the head of talent, including of TikTokers of Gush Cloud, Thailand. Thanks for joining us, May. So for all three of our speakers here, I'm going to invite you to leave both your cameras and your microphones on. We're going to have a bit of an informal session, so feel free to respond to the questions in an order as you wish. But for the purposes of clarity, so we can hear exactly who you are and what you do, maybe we can each take about a couple of minutes to tell us what is your organization and what do you represent? Shikha, would you like to start us off?
Sure. So thank you for the introduction and for having me. I am the Chief Operating Officer of Pradesi, and the platform was conceived in 2020. And kind of what happened was that we noticed that with South Asians, traditionally, there is more of a fixation on what divides us and separates us, rather than, values and other things that unite us. And we wanted to build a community for it. And especially, I think another thing I need to point out is that at the time we noticed that there was no space for women. And so we set out to build a positive space. We wanted it to be community focused, and we wanted different types of people to be able to share their experience. And so Pradesi represents a community and global platform that employs an intersectional approach to empower, celebrate, and amplify voices of South Asian women.
Thank you, Shikha. Sean, would you like to follow up?
Sure. Yeah, thanks for inviting me today. I really appreciate it. It's not often I get to share my story, so it'd be good to it's good to finally share it today. I'll try not to ramble too much because I want to give as much value to the audience as possible. So make sure you write any questions you may have for me. So Borderless is something that I created back during the pandemic, mostly combination of boredom, but also my passion for East and Southeast Asia. I was born in Australia, but of Malaysian Chinese heritage, and I felt like I had an intense curiosity, just given that that's what they call banana, grey up here, not really speaking Chinese, only speak English, lived in a pretty white suburb. So a lot of last few years of my life have really been trying to understand, I guess, my own cultural background and heritage. So anyway, besides that's part of it. The second part was that the creation of Borderless was multifaceted, very complicated. But one of the main topics I wanted to touch upon for at least for this year was around the concept of, I guess, the concept of the bamboo ceiling in the context of the Asian Australian diaspora and the Asian American diaspora. Because what I feel is that a lot of Asians aren't being utilized in industry or, in politics, media, maybe academia. I'm not too sure. I haven't explored that yet, but I felt like, the concept of the bamboo ceiling is where a lot of Asians are unable, for a multitude of reasons, to progress to the higher echelons of leadership in organizations or companies, etc. So I sort of set out this primarily this year to explore sort of that concept primarily, to find out, who are these people breaking the bamboo ceiling and what made them, what makes them tick, I guess. And as I said, it's multifaceted. There's a lot of things that, I explore on the platform, not just, to do with business, but, a lot of it to do, with the Asian diaspora, racism, business, startups, and so forth. So again, if you have any questions that, please ask as we go along this interview. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. That's really generous of you. And on to May.
Okay, so I'm May. I'm from Cloud, Thailand. So basically, I've been in the advertising and media industry for the last 6 years, and right now I'm with Cloud Thailand. What we do is actually we are a talent agency, but we focus on the influencer marketing and media. So every business that we create, we have the content creator as a center. So basically our business is based on the content creator economy. We try to empower the content creator and make the content creator as a proper career for the content creator themselves. And when we break down our business, we can break into 4 sections. We have the talent management arm, where we have an exclusive contract with the talent or the influencers. Some people call it influencers, some people call it the content creator. So we help the content creator with the legal issue, legal papers, and the guidance, like in their life, or the guidance when they have to face with the difficult situations, because a lot of them they trust us more than they trust their parents, because a lot of them are young. And we also have the content studio, when we help the content creator to create the content. And we have the marketing arms and the marketing agency that we find the sponsorship deals for the content creator. And so we also have the commerce arm, where we have 2 prongs. We develop the products with the content creator, so we can help them to generate the income. And we also have the other arm, where we develop the content creator who can actually sell the products to help them grow their revenue. Yep, and that's pretty much me and Cloud Thailand.
Thank you, May. I think we are really in for a treat, because all 3 of your organizations, Pardesi, Borderless, and Cloud, are cross-platform and quite prolific in your own right. So my next question, by way of introduction to 3 of you, is what exactly is your involvement with TikTok specifically? And what is so distinctive about your engagement or understanding of TikTok compared to other platforms? Whoever would like to go first is welcome to.
Okay, I can go first. It's okay. Okay, so involvement with TikTok. I think there are three ways that we have in contact with TikTok. The first one is that we are the influencer marketing agency for TikTok. We create content to promote TikTok. So TikTok is our client as well. So when TikTok have a new feature or TikTok have a new business model, they will contact us and discuss with us how they're going to promote the TikTok through the content creator. That is the first way. The second way is that because we also run the influencer marketing campaigns for clients, for brands. And in the past 2 years, there are lots of campaigns that we run on TikTok. So in a sense, they are a platform that we have to consult with, because some contents we cannot create on TikTok. And there are some restrictions that the content creator cannot do. So we have to consult with them like what can or what cannot do on the platform. And lastly, we also, as a talent management agency, we also have a lot of TikTokers that we signed a contract with, and we are amongst like hundreds of the MCN, which is a multi-channel network under the TikTok platform. So we help develop the TikTokers who can create good content and who can work with a TikTok when TikTok would like to when TikTok needs the TikTokers or the content creators to help engage with the audience for the platform. And that's 3 ways that we work with TikTok. And if you ask me what's the difference compared to the other social media channels, I think the first thing is the algorithm, because TikTok has a very different algorithm compared to the other social media platforms. It's a content based, right? Where other platforms, they tend to be like the content creator based, where the people who see the contents of the content creator themselves are the one who follows them. But TikTok is take another route. They tend to be focusing more on the type of content that the content creator creates. And TikTok will run the algorithm along that way. And that makes a difference. And the other thing is that I cannot say that it's a purpose, right? But based on the content that the content creators on each platform create, it makes TikTok different. Where TikTok is, I think 90% they are entertainment platform. Okay, TikTok is entertainment platform. People come in to enjoy the content, have a laugh, and they can spend hours and hours with the short form content scrolling down. Where other platforms such as, let's say, Twitter is more on the news and the information, the quick update news, right? And Facebook, it's more like friends talk, and from time to time, there are the big content creators there, and people follow just want to follow on, like, you know, what their daily life happened and what contents that these people create. And at the same time, if you look at the Instagram is another kind of another type of platform. Instagrams tend to show the good side of each people. People come in to show that their image, come in to show their life on the good side, right? And it's the picture-oriented platform. And for YouTube is a mix of pretty much everything, but it's a long-form content. So people tend to spend, people who has like a serious or want to watch like serious educational contents or want something very informative, they tend to flock to YouTube. Yep, and that's what I see each platform. Yeah, and what makes TikTok different is just it's like almost purely entertainment platform.
Thank you, May.
Yep.
Chico or Sean, any thoughts?
Sure. So firstly, I think May made some amazing points. I think the entire time I find myself just nodding along because I can definitely see everything that you're saying. With us, I would say we can kind of group it into 2 areas when we look at the ways we use TikTok. The first area would be promotion. So we do campaigns, we do digital, we do events, we do workshops, and we do programs. And so we'll use TikTok to promote some of our events, but also throughout the year, we'll have 2 big community-focused projects. And that for us this year was our mentorship program. We did like a 2nd edition of a mentorship program that was open to South Asian women and non-binary individuals worldwide. And we also recently just launched a South Asian queer zine project that's currently ongoing. And so when I'm going to talk about the mentorship program. So we launched last year and we had about, I want to say 20, 25 mentors. And I think we received like 40, 50 applications. I don't remember the numbers anymore because it was so long ago. So I'm just using some ballpark figures. And then this year when we launched, we used TikTok for our promotion and our videos were getting thousands of views. And these were really short, snappy videos. And I think we ended up recruiting double the amount of mentors. And I think with mentee applications, we had, I think, over 100, maybe 150. And again, like when I say all of this, maybe these figures don't sound as big, but there was obviously like certain criteria that people had to fulfill in order to apply or to be considered for a mentee or mentorship position, a mentee or mentor position. And so I think with TikTok, it made a massive difference in the way we were connecting with our audience. And we could see that our message was going out much more widely. And then I think the second thing is that we also really want to shine some light on what other individuals are doing or what other creatives are doing. And so we use TikTok for that purpose. And I think the way it differs from other social media is that if you look at our, if you look at our LinkedIn, you look at our Instagram, you look at our community newsletter, you look at any of these other things, you'll notice that it's a lot more curated. There's more graphics, there's more text. Whereas I think with TikTok, it really boils down to us bringing back that whole community aspect and us trying to connect with connect with the people that are supporting us. And so you'll always see that it's the people that are working on our project, so our team, that was featured. And there's always that human aspect. And I think that's what we've been able to provide with TikTok, because at the day, we're trying to build a community. And so we want people to be engaging with other people as well. And for that, you need to have that sort of connection. So I think that's how TikTok is a little bit different for us.
Thank you, Shika. Appreciate it. Sean.
Yeah, probably not too much more to add. I'll just say TikTok has, I would say in my opinion, one of the best algorithms in terms of being able to reach people. You can have 0 followers. Unlike the other platforms, you can have 0 followers and get millions of views just from a piece of content, because how obviously the algorithm works, it's content based rather than the actual how many followers you have. So it's very powerful in that regard. But saying that, I've noticed recently that Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, and YouTube Shorts have been following or going to be following very, very similarly to TikTok. So you may see a lot of social media platforms trying to replicate the success of TikTok. And I've actually noticed myself that some of the reels that I've posted on Instagram are performing better on TikTok, which is a surprise to me, given historically when I've been testing the 2 platforms that, TikTok has been more consistent in that regard. But yeah, I mean, like, not much more to add. TikTok is, short content based platform. I'm not that entertaining, so I either have to make it educational or inspirational. That's most of my content is based around that. And then I've also been putting out snippets of some of my longer form content. So I post some of my podcasts that I do around, the Asian diaspora on YouTube. They may go for an hour, and I just take highlights out of those to go to TikTok, put them onto TikTok, and then lead people to the long form version on YouTube or Spotify or whatever. So that's how I use the platforms primarily. I don't use Twitter. I don't use Facebook that much. I do use LinkedIn quite a bit. Again, LinkedIn, I think, is quite a powerful, I want to say similar to TikTok, but it has quite powerful network effects in terms of being able to reach people more effectively than the traditional platforms. So I've been using LinkedIn a lot, but again, only from a professional standpoint, where I put, interviews with, notable CEOs or founders. I put those up on LinkedIn, or at least snippets or little videos that then direct them to the full length video or podcast. So use it in a sort of different way, but obviously in a much more professional way. And yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, Sean. As researchers of TikTok and as people who work with industry, NGOs, and also study the creators on that TikTok, one of the biggest issues we often face is that, mentioned TikTok, the first response is that this is an app where privacy is very concerning. People start to mention bans, they start to mention where data is stored, and a lot of the conversation just seems to be curtailed there. So one of the aims of our network is to understand how beyond these concerns, everybody in the TikTok sphere has some awareness of this going on, but they're still using the app for a variety of reasons, for a variety of ways, having reconciled their understanding of this. In other words, we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So for all 3 of your organizations, the key word that keeps coming to mind is community. And to just toss one in there, can you please tell us how exactly do you view, contain, see or shape your community on something as amorphous as TikTok? Do you consider it something that is based on followers on your account, people who live on a hashtag, people who form a certain demographic? So what is your community on TikTok? What does it look like?
I'll go first because I don't have that much to say on it. I think building community is not the easiest thing in the world, especially for the content I produce, because I typically cover topics all across Southeast Asia and East Asia. So one day I could be talking about the Philippines, for example, and then that might get a lot of viewers from the Philippines. But then the next day I'm talking about Vietnam or Japan or whatever, and then those guys don't get to see that content because they're not that as interested. So I find it quite difficult to build a community. That's something I will definitely work on. It also doesn't help that I don't show my face that often. So when people see my snippets, it's obviously of my podcast guests, and they might think, oh, I'm following my podcast guests, not like me. So I think there's a bit of confusion. So something I definitely need to work on in the future. Obviously, show my face a bit more, present who I am and what I do and the purpose of the platform. And yeah, that's all I have to add on that.
Can I jump in if that's okay? So I think for us, it helps because when Pardesi started, it actually started at a time when me and the founder, we were having conversations about where we kind of fit in as South Asians. We felt like, we belonged everywhere, nowhere. And I think this is like a common experience for a diaspora kid. But more than that, I think when we created the platform, a lot of the content that we were making was for people like us. So I feel like in that sense, it was slightly easier because I think when we would actually talk about Pardesi in the early days, we would say things like, this is the content, or like, these are the events that we wish we had growing up. So I think in that sense, it was slightly easier because we were our demographic. That saying, it doesn't go without any challenges, because I think, catching people's eye I would say is easier than kind of sustaining and building that community. And also with us, like we're focusing on South Asian women worldwide. And we've noticed that, like, I think that we tend the demographic that tends to stick with us a lot more is people ages 18 to 36. And they're in different parts of the world. And I think diaspora is so different. And so we're really trying to leverage what are universal experiences, but also we're not trying to lump South Asians to be this like monolith. We're not one big homogenous group. So I think it's tricky navigating, because we want to create that space, but also we don't want to communicate this message that, look at us, we're all the same, because, there's so many different people out there and they all deserve to express themselves. And so I think it's kind of been a learning curve for us, because we're I think all of us, as we do this, even though we're making a lot of content that, we think we want to see, it's still a lot of experimenting that goes into it on a day-to-day basis. And I think I can kind of speak for everyone on the team, because I think with their different roles, they're all trying to do this in one way or the other.
Okay. For me, I can't really, because I don't have my own TikTok communities, because I'm only on TikTok just for work purpose. I don't create any content on TikTok, but my role is to guide the content creators to create content on TikTok and to grow their community, right? And in that sense, I look at the community on TikTok from the management's perspective. So what I will always say to the TikTokers that I manage is that be yourself, first of all. Be yourself and create content that you love, but that content has to, or it should be content that's in the trending right now. So these are three things that I always say to the content creator. Because first of all, I think TikTok is a great platform to show their talent. It's like, I think as Sean said, that you can have 0 followers and you can reach millions of people. So I think that is the first thing that, is very important. The second thing is that people care less about the image when you create content on TikTok compared to other platforms. I think if you compare the content on TikTok and the content on Instagram, it's a totally different story. Instagram is all about the best image of you possible or the best moment. But TikTok, it's more like the funny side of that person. You can joke around, you can have fun with anything, and people don't judge you that much. So I think based on what I've mentioned, right, I think TikTok is a community of the fans who really care about that content creator, in the sense that they don't care about their appearance. They do care about appearance, but not as much as on other platforms. Yeah, and it's a genuine fans in a sense to me. Yeah, they care about the personality.
Thanks, Sean, Shika, and May. I'm really glad to follow up from May with this question. A second keyword that's come up in all of your introductions is entertainment. And I've been holding this question since the start of today. Tara made a really amazing observation that TikTok is basically used by Diaspora as a form of migrant media. It's a very traditional concept that we hold in media studies, that there may be specific formats, functions, networks, or even ways of speaking when we're looking at a specific demographic in migrant media, or maybe now diaspora media, social media. So for all three of your organizations, it's quite clear you use TikTok to inform or market or persuade people of something. But entertainment also seems to be very important because we understand that comedy and humor travels really far. You know, Sean gave us a very priceless quote: you can have 0 followers, but millions of views. And Shika also gave us another priceless quote, like, back then you were your demographic and this has changed now. So my question to all three of you is, what is that delicate balance you have to manage when you're trying to push a meaningful message from your organization, while also understanding that on TikTok, it's entertainment that travels far? What kind of strategies do you have to put in the mix here for that fine balance?
I'll just go first. Again, I don't think I have too much more to add from the last comment, because as I said, I don't really produce content that's super entertaining, and the entertaining, quote unquote, entertaining content I have put up hasn't really performed that well on TikTok. So it's a bit of a funny thing. But yeah, it's in just terms of, I think just in terms of content creation in general, it's a bit different to what you're asking for, but striking the balance between producing content, I find the hardest bit is creating content that appeals to, you know, what you're interested in versus what the audience is interested in. So what that means is, you know, maybe I would really want to go deep niche into, say, an Asian Australian who quit his job and moved to Cambodia and is now a CEO of a technology company, which I did interview him. Again, that niche is too small for a lot of the platforms, because, you know, how many Cambodian Australians are there that, or even Asian Australians that will be interested in that topic? And if there are Cambodians interested in that topic, how many of them are speaking English, right? So there's a balance that you got to do to sort of create content that's, I guess, fulfills the need of, you know, the content creator like myself in terms of what I want to cover, what I'm most passionate about, but also finding a balance between finding that balance to also get the most viewers possible. Because you don't want to, you know, sell your soul, and, you know, I don't want to start dancing on TikTok just because it's going to get me more views, right? Like striking that balance between the two, you know, sort of push and pull factors.
Sean, I don't think we would mind if you had to dance on TikTok to sell us your message. So I'll stay tuned.
I'll think about it.
I think for us, the way I think we approach it, or I specifically, I'd say I would approach it, is that I like to think of myself as a user, you know, because yes, I'm the demographic, but also if I'm on TikTok, what is it that I'd like to see? And so I think when I go to make one, you know, I think to myself, it really depends on actually what you're making at the time as well. But I think, let's say I'm trying to promote an event or one of our programs or something, I think I'll think about, you know, what is a trending audio I can use at the time? Is there a simple trend that we can do? Because like Sean said, like, you know, he doesn't dance to promote his content, and neither do we. And so I think what can we do to kind of almost flip the trend on its head and use it to our advantage, if there is something that we can use. And also I think you want to keep it short and snappy. And I think you also want to capture your audience by using the language that they would be using. So like I, for example, have a biomedical sciences background, but if I'm talking about an event that we're doing, I'm not going to dish out some sort of jargon because that's not going to stick with our audience, is it? So I think it's really putting yourself in the shoes of the people that you're trying to reach. I think that's what works. And I think it's also easy saying that, but I think it all really pans out once you start putting out content and almost practicing, because I think with every TikTok that you made or every piece of content you put out, I think you start to learn a little bit more oh, this is what I can fine tune, this is what my audience wants, or oh, okay, I used, I don't know, 3 hashtags, next time I'm not gonna bother putting in any hashtags, stuff like that. I think over time you do minuscule tweaks and you realize what works and what doesn't work.
Okay. To me, I think to balance, right, between the entertainment value and the serious message that we want to send out. I think we have to separate these two into two functions. The entertainment part is to get the attentions of the viewers. You have to draw them in, right? And you deliver the message that can blend into the entertainment value that you created in the first place to draw. So I've been in the advertising business for 6 or 7 years, right? And I love this quote from I think his name is Harvard Gossage, and he said that people don't look at advertisement. People look at what interests them, and sometimes it's advertisement, which means that the message that you want to send out, if you can make it interesting enough, your audience will look at it and will consume it. So back in the question, so the entertainment value is to entertain them, get them interested, and you deliver the message that go along with the entertainment value that you created in the first place. I think I and my team just done a CSR campaign on the cyberbullying in the last 3 to 4 weeks, and it's still ongoing right now. And we created this hashtag is called toxic. It's a wordplay between toxic and talk, right? And I think we engaged with 16 or 17 of the influencers that we have signed, and we engaged with another 20 outside of our influencer roster, and we generate around 3.4 reaches among them. And I think I just give the creative freedom to the influencers that, hey, the message that we want to push out is that stop cyberbullying. It's a good thing, but I want you guys to create the content that can draw your fans in, because your fans the best. And all of them has a creativity, and all of them can think of the way to combine these two together because they know their audience. I think if you understand the behavior of our audience, why they come to look at our content in the first place, we can put the entertainment value, which draws them in, and the message that we want to push out together quite easily. But we just have to have the whole understanding of our audience.
Thank you, Mei. So my first keyword for all of us earlier, we spoke on community, and then we talked about entertainment. My third keyword from listening to our introductions is labor. And it's on this note that I'm going to turn to our string of comments, questions, and answers that have been coming in as well. This one in particular is quite relevant to the idea of labor, and it's asking for your understandings of engagement. So in the first session, we spoke to academics. They look at TikTok as a whole. We've got creators who really stress over the contents that they make and then engaging with other people on the app. And I guess for all three of you who represent a cause or an organization, you can be thought of also as community managers, in that you're managing contents, engagement, reactions, the boundedness of the people you're speaking to. So this question from Marian asks, do you consider comments, look at the viewer's origins, or any other setting in order to understand the audience that you are reaching? And how does this help you grasp your idea of community?
I'll just jump in. So TikTok, like most other platforms, has a data analytics piece where you can see where your viewers are coming from or where your subscribers are coming from. So in my case, Australia, US, and then followed by Southeast Asia. So I think Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia from memory. But in terms of what I consider community, as I said before, I have found it difficult for the reasons I gave before. But I have had people reach out to me on other platforms, or they might have seen my TikTok and then reached out to me on Instagram or whatever, or direct email on my website. And that's what I find, I guess, the people who took the effort to actually, bother going from one platform to another and then messaging me is, a good indicator of what resonates with those specific people. And if those specific people reached out to me, then that means other people must be interested in the content. So that's sort of how I gauge the current audience I have in terms of, and sort of informs me of what content I should create down the track. But again, as I said previously, I'm finding it difficult to balance, the needs of the audience versus what I want to produce. So again, it's that push and pull factor.
Okay. For me, I think when I have to guide the content creator to build up that community, I look at two things. The first one is, of course, the comments give it a lot of information that anyone who comments on your content cares about you. Cares in what way, I don't know, but at least they care about you. Because if you look at the behavior, you can just look through the content and you say, okay, it's good, and you scroll up or down, right? But if you want, in order to comment on someone, you have to take the efforts to break that behavior, to scroll, to jump into the comment section, think of what you want to say, type it down, right? That is a good, gauge for the sense of what community look like. But the other thing that I care more about the comments is that the statistics behind each post or behind each content, because it says more about your community more than the ones who comment on the post. Yeah. Apart from TikTok, I also manage the YouTube channel for like several content creators. And from time to time, what the people comment in your content, it could be different from the back end. The numbers never lies. That is what we always have in mind when we work with the media or with clients. Numbers says everything. And yeah, I use two things to combine together, to gauge a sense of the community. The back end stats, like what kind of people look at your content, how long they watch your content, how long before they drop off from your content, and what kind of content that they watch apart from your content, together with the comments and the likes and share.
So I think there's so many interesting points you can make on this, but in terms of comments, we definitely do look at comments because we want to see what our audience thinks, and we're also looking at some of the data. And so, for example, we know that age range between 18 and 36 is interacting with us the most. We know that from the diaspora, there's a lot of South Asians based in the UK and US that we're interacting with. But I think with what we do, we try and strike a balance, because we want to put out content and messages that we think represent us, but also we want to give the audience what they want. Because I think you also don't really want to be in a position where you're kind of being siloed into only really putting out or representing parts of yourself that you think will do well on social media, because I think that's an easy route to go down, but you don't necessarily want to do that. And then I think in terms of engagement as well, another big thing is that we have we have a community Slack, and that's also another way we try and engage with different audiences, is that if you go to the link in our bio in like our social medias, you can see that there's an opportunity to join a Slack group, and you get to join our big general Slack group, but you also have ones that are location based. And I think another way you can kind of pick up like where the engagement lies, or where maybe we should be doing more work, is that you can see how much interaction is going on in those channels, because you can see that, oh my God, okay, there's more people that are talking about events in London than there are in, I don't know, Birmingham or somewhere else. And so, this can be an indicator of, oh, this is doing great, but also maybe we need to work on doing more in XYZ place.
Thank you, Shika. One of the privileges as moderator is that I get to ask questions that are, for me, the burning question inside. So in one sentence for all of us as we wrap up, if tomorrow morning you woke up and you could change TikTok in any way, form, function, format, rules, norms, the makeup of people, anything that could help improve the lives of people in your community, what would you change? So just one thing in one sentence. We'll do this alphabetically. So let's do May, Sean, and Shika.
Okay, change one thing, anything, right? From my point of view, for instance, if TikTok has this function where it can translate any language into English, or can translate one language to another, and it can put subtitles up after we upload the content, it will help the community a lot. Because I think language barrier is something that I am trying to tackle, because a lot of the content creator in Thailand and in numbers of countries, they cannot communicate in English, even though they can create a very good content, but it couldn't be understood by the mass audience. So if that happens, right, if there is that function, it will help someone from, it could help someone from Thailand to export our culture to the people from the other side of the world. And at the same time, they can understand anything from everyone who's on TikTok. And it will help the community, and it helps my job as well a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good one, actually. If we could all, remove the barrier of language, that'd be good. Just from my perspective, it's probably not a TikTok thing, but just social media in general, is that, the concept of echo chambers, in terms of, your people purposely curate the content they want to see. And I find a lot of that centers around, controversy, negativity, which then, people sort of, you see this, I guess, in the US, I don't know, I don't have data behind it, but, you've got left people on the left, people on the right, and sort of this divisive sort of thing happening on social media, from what I can tell. I don't know if there's a way for social media to be able to, bridge those gaps between different communities, people with different points of view, being able to see content that is different from what you normally see. And again, that's probably not the role of social media, but it'll be something that's nice to have going forward at some point.
I think those are such great answers. I'm almost at a loss of words. But I think what I would really like is to be able to see more emerging content. And I don't know if this is just me personally, but I feel like when I started using TikTok, like during peak pandemic times, I think I would see content that was a little bit more diverse. But nowadays, I kind of feel like when I go on TikTok and let's say I look at one audio, I feel like the algorithm is then trying to trap me where I see 50 of the same kinds of videos. And so I think I'm almost like, when I'm looking at it, like when I'm looking at our community page, sometimes I'm trying to find new creatives, new events, and I'm like, okay, but I'm seeing 50 of the same thing, and I love all of you and I appreciate all of you, but I need to see like more diversity on the app. I need to see, other content creators, for example, that like haven't had so much time in the spotlight, but definitely deserve to be uplifted. I don't know what feature you could invent for this, but I think it would be really cool. Like if, if you wanted to focus in on a specific part of the diaspora that hasn't been highlighted, I think that would be really interesting, because it would be almost such an obvious way to lift up certain parts of the diaspora.
Thank you so much, May, Sean, and Chika. I want to leave us with parting words. So many priceless quotes and so much for us to learn from you and your communities. I really enjoyed learning from Sean about the bamboo ceiling that you're writing more about and also discovering more as a self-professed banana, or in our part of the world, the potato. May, as an expert in marketing, I really appreciated learning that everyone who comments cares about you. In what way? We don't know, but they care about us and we have to figure out the tonality of that. And finally, from Shika, I really appreciate learning from you. This is priceless. The algorithm is trying to trap us. Sometimes it really is, and we have to find ways to either master it or escape it. So thank you so much for joining us on our NGO and industry panel. I'm going to hand the time now back to Dr. Jin Lee, who's going to wrap us up for today.
Hello, everyone. It's me again. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, thank you, Crystal, Shika, May, and Sean for sharing your insightful knowledge and perspectives with us. We really, really appreciate. And this is the end of our event. We hope you learned a lot from insightful conversations of the academics, TikTokers, industries, and NGOs. We hope also this event is not the end of the discussion, but we present it as a starting point to think about our engagements of TikTok cultures and potentials of the platform for raising our intercultural knowledge and awareness, and also its limitations as the more people become really, really interested in TikTok. So before we say goodbye, I'd like to emphasize our gratitude for Professor Simon Forrest, and also our backend staff members who helped our event. Thank you, Social Media Pop Cultures Program of Curtin CCAT, and also Miss Linda Durack, CCAT, and our amazing TCRN crew, Kristen Hatwood, and also Naomi Robinson. Thank you so much for making this event real and happening, and also Rebel Juno for their amazing illustration. Again, the recording of today's roundtable event will be uploaded. So if you haven't missed the first panelist session, or if you have missed some part of our event today, please check us our website in a few days. Lastly, I'd like to share very exciting news with you. We are also very excited to announce our next event, as Crystal mentioned in the first beginning of our event, TikTok and Young Children. This will be held in Q2 2023 with the support of AIC Center of Digital Culture, Digital Child. For those of you who are interested in this theme, stay tuned for more information. Also, we have another exciting news to share. Next year, we are launching TCRM Visiting Research Fellowships. This will be an exciting opportunity for postgraduate students and also early career scholars to collaborate with Curtin researchers to study TikTok cultures and expand their and our research networks together. So please stay tuned for more information on our website or on our Twitter account. And as usual, we are accepting our TCRN global membership. This will be a great opportunity for scholars, especially early career scholars or scholars in the Global South, to expand their research network and build the collaborative research community together with us. So for those of you who are interested in joining us, please visit the website. Or if you have any ideas about the research collaborations, events about TikTok cultures, please feel free to reach out to us. We are more than happy to work with you. So that's it from us, and have a lovely day wherever you are. And we will see you again in our next year, in our next event next year. Thank you so much for joining us.